So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can get Christmas lights all the way up there, 25, 30 feet tall, without using a ladder, without using anything other than a Mr. Long Arm pole, which is 24 foot long, and a 6 foot person or a 5 and raise your arms up. And this is how we can get a 30 to 32 foot tree. And we will install lights all the way to the top, and I'll show you how to install them all the way down to the bottom. So I'm Jason Guyman. I am with PressureWashHelp.com, here to help you grow your business and be successful. And I know this is Christmas lights on a pressure washing channel, but I've kind of changed the way I have been. I had a Christmas light channel and a pressure wash channel, and during the winter time, my pressure wash channel kind of goes down. So instead of trying to juggle two channels, I have all one channel of Christmas lights, of pressure washing and Christmas lights, all going to be on one channel. You can go find out all my other stuff at christmaslightshelp.com/YouTube, and it will take you to that channel. But in this video, I'm really going to focus on how to do a Christmas tree, do lights on a Christmas tree, and this can go for whether it's a naked tree or if it's an evergreen tree, or more traditionally a Christmas tree. So what I'm going to use today is, how we do this is we're going to use Mr. Long Arm here. So this thing extends up 24 feet tall, and this is how we're able to get our Christmas lights all the way to the top. We don't ever want to drop this pole. It will bend it. It won't work. And you will regret it later. So in another video, I talked to you about how to take a paint roller hook and bend it and make it on Mr. Long Arm. And this is how we're able to reach all the way to the top of that tree and get Christmas lights all the way to the top. Some things we're going to need are some Christmas lights. I got a whole bunch of them here. Now, with these Christmas lights, I'm going to give you some suggestions here, which they're kind of all knotted up. And so that's the importance of rolling them up. Bill, one of our suppliers, he actually is selling them this way. And this way you can actually get them, buy them in a rolled up bundle. When we start by doing Christmas lights, the very first thing we want to do is, especially if they're not brand new, and even sometimes if they are brand new, is we want to plug them in and make sure they all work. If we have one or two lights work throughout, it's most likely there's a whole section of them not working. And the last thing you want to do is get up into that tree, into that 30-foot tree, and try to get some strands up there to the top to cover that bad section, or that whole bad, maybe the fuses are bad in here, and then none of the lights from that will work from there on. So it's very important to make sure that we put these lights up, so that way we don't have to come back and fix them and do them again. So once we get the lights all up, all ready to go, we're going to undo them here. And remember, we always want to make sure that the female goes on top, not the male. We don't ever want to put the male on top. Now, I will give you a secret later on of how we can make them work if we accidentally put them up there. And you will put them up there. I guarantee you, you do enough trees, somebody will put a male on the top of the tree. Whether it's you or a helper, or somebody will. And usually it's the hardest tree of them all. And I actually didn't learn this secret till a little while ago of how to make them lights work, even though the male's on top. But we always want to make sure the female is on top. So once we got a set of lights out, I usually start out with two lights, two sets. So I'm going to go ahead and get another set here. And we're going to go ahead and hook these together. Now, when we hook these together, we want to make sure that we tie these together. We don't want to not tie these, because what can happen is if we just plug these in like so, and we just plug it in, and then that tree up there, because we are on trees, starts getting wind, it's going to come undone. And now we got another issue of how do we get it plugged in. The only other way to get that fixed is to get up there and pull the two sections down to be able to get it done. So what I always do is I take them, I crisscross them, I go and I do an underhand knot, tie it in, plug it in. Now if the wind comes, it's not going to pull it apart. And this is very important to make sure that we don't get it unplugged and that this thing stays plugged in. So again, we're going to take the female, because the female goes to the top of the tree. What we're going to do is we're going to take our pole right here. And on our pole, you're going to go probably 3 or 4 feet right there. And then what I do is I come down here and I just kind of wrap it over like so and do this 3 or 4 times. And what this causes this to do, if I don't do that, what this allows me to do is when I go up into that tree and I wrap it around, I'm able to pull it back down like that. If I don't give me a long enough tail there, if my tail is too short and I do this, there's a good chance, the possibility of me getting it up there, it's going to come back down. And so that is why we want to do, I always do about 2 or 3 feet. I usually do, enough that it's there, wrap it around 3 or 4 times. Now, when I'm up there in that tree this way, and I can pull on it, I can try to wrap it, it's not going to allow that to come undone. And that's why I like to have a long tail sitting there, so doing it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend our pole up. If you can use the bottom section and kind of, if you don't have to take them all the way up, it's best if you can leave this thing in a little bit, because the more you get this out, the more it's going to be a floppy pole. And a floppy pole is not an easy pole to do. So we're going to get it. And like I say, if we're up 30 feet, we can do about a 32-foot tree this way. We get taller than that, then that's going to be another issue. I bring it back to myself here like so. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to get this up into the top of the tree and kind of wrap it a little bit. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Now I'm going to kind of start on this back side, because it's actually, this tree is kind of a tough tree. And that's another thing. Not all trees are good wrappable trees. This tree has a lot of nothing right in here, and it's just some trees aren't real good wrappable trees. This evergreen tree, or this blue spruce tree, it's not a good wrappable tree. It's a giant tree, but it's not a good wrappable tree. So not all trees are the best wrappable trees. With that being said, we want to make it look as good as we can. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this up here, and I'm going to take it all the way up, and I'm going to kind of wrap around a little bit here, wrap around some of this stuff, and I'm going to bring it back around here and get it started. And that's how we get this tree started. Now, this is the fun part. If you got a lot of area, which I'll show you once I get through the other side, I kind of picked this hard tree for a reason. We got a lot of trees on this side, we got trees on the other side, and this is not the easiest tree to wrap. So I want to show you how to wrap this one, so that way you will be able to wrap a hard tree. So sometimes you got to take small bites. So if I'm going around this way, then it's real no problem, because what I want to do is I'm going to come, well, let me unroll these a little bit more. And again, we're going to test these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to usually come right here at the ground. Come right at the ground, and I'm going to pull straight out. And I want that straight out there, and that'll give me an idea of where it is in that tree. And then we're just going to wrap it around here. So I'm going to pick it all the way up, make sure I get the top of the tree good, and come around. Now, like I said, I got another tree right here that's in my way. So I'm going to either come out way out here and get above it and come on around. All right, so that was one wrap around by me coming all the way to the ground and wrapping it all the way around. Now, a lot of times, I always like to go around the very top of the tree twice and hit that very top of the tree 2 times. And here's why. Because if you have a normal tree, this isn't a very good normal tree. When you start getting up to the top, especially if we have a Christmas light tree, you don't get a lot of lights up there. So I always do the top twice to really get a lot of lights to the top of the tree. The more lights we can get to the top of the tree, the better that tree will look. If we can get a lot of lights at the top and a lot of lights at the bottom, especially when it looks skinny, then it won't look so bad. So once we get that, that's our run one time around. We're going to do it again. Now with this one, I have this blue spruce right here, right in the way. So like I say, normally you would start down here at the ground and do that. But where I'm going to be over there, I want to start up about halfway up, pull my lights, grab them back here, pull straight out to get them out of them tree limbs. Try not to pull too hard, but sometimes you do. And then we're going to go around here, just like so, and get past that that other tree. Bring it down. All right, and then again, we're going to come down here to the ground. We're going to pull straight out, so that way it don't get all stuck up in that tree. And we're going to start wrapping it. And when we wrap this, if I can do it right here, put it up on the branch. All right, it ain't going to go there. When we wrap this, all right, so when we wrap these trees, don't do what I just did there, at least make sure that it goes solid, straight down. When we wrap a naked tree, what is a naked tree? A naked tree is a tree that's going to lose its leaves. So we have this evergreen that's not going to lose its leaf, or a Christmas light tree, and then we have a naked tree. Naked, get naked. So on a naked tree, we want to be a distance from one light section to the next. We want to be about from our fingertips to our elbow, which should be, 15, 18 inches is what we kind of want in that area. And the reason why we can get away with being so far away is when this tree loses its leaves, you will be able to see the lights on the other side of this tree. And so when you see the lights on this side of the tree and you see the lights on the other side of the tree, it looks full and it looks like it's got a lot of lights on it. On an evergreen tree or a naked tree, we want to be a hand length, 6 inches, hand length, from one strand to the next. So this will be one strand, this is the next strand. And the reason why we want them so tight is because on this big evergreen tree, you can't see through like this tree, we can see through it, through the naked tree, and we can see the lights on the other side. In an evergreen, we can't. So that's why we want to be this distance right here versus this distance. If you're this distance, it will look like crap. And remember, when we're putting lights on a tree, you can never have too many lights. I've had one, I used to say I never had a callback for too many lights. This past year, we had a callback for too many lights on a tree. But I'll tell you how many times we can have callbacks. One time out of 5 years of doing Christmas lights, 5, 6 years doing Christmas lights, versus 20, 30 times of this tree looks like crap. It didn't even put no lights on this tree. So make sure we're putting enough lights on these trees so that way it will make this look good. We want to make it look good. If we want to charge professional prices, we got to make it look professional. If we're going to make it look like Charlie Brown, we're going to charge Charlie Brown prices. That's going to be your $99 guy. So make sure we are charging enough for these trees to get enough lights on them. So the next thing is we're going to bring this all the way down just like I did here. And once we get to about the bottom here, I'll show you how we will do the trunk of the tree. And this is what we call a branch bough wrap. So we're going to branch wrap the bottom and we're going to bough wrap the top. And this really makes that top look good. And this makes this tree look good. If we don't do that, the tree can look like crap sometimes. So we really want to make sure that the tree looks good. So we go again. We're going to plug these in, make sure they're working, make sure all the lights are working. These are cheap lights. These are kind of my training lights, so they've gotten pulled and everything. So probably I'm going to say none of them work. I would not use these on a normal tree. We want to, and here's the deal. Our first year, your first year putting up lights, usually you can plug them in, they're all going to work. Your second year, good luck. Because when we're pulling on them and you're taking them apart and you're storing them and you got guys doing that to them, good luck on making them work the next year. So last year, we lost about 50% of our minis. And a lot of that was due to people not caring when taken down. So that can be an issue. Again, make sure that we take care of this stuff, and like what I'm doing right here, there we go. Somebody fold these up that I did not fold them up, so this is why they're kind of getting jambled. And I will show you how to take these lights down when we go to for my next video of how to take down. But again, we always want to make sure that our female plugs into the male. Make sure our female is on top. Male on top is not good. We're going to take it. Again, we're going to do our overhand knot. Just a nice, easy overhand knot. Pull it tight so it'll stay there. Back up our pole here and get unstuck from it. So usually I will come down here to the ground, hook them, go straight out, especially these trees that are kind of sticky, go straight out, and we're going to keep wrapping on down. Again, we're going to keep it an arm's length down so we can come on down. And like I say, this tree is not the best tree to wrap. Once we get so far, we can drop our pole. Keep on coming around, making this tree look good. All right, we want these to be an arm length from one to the next. And I know it's probably hard to see in this because of the way this tree is. I will put a picture of what a kind of a cedar tree looks like and what a naked tree looks like by doing our either this distance for a naked tree or this distance for a Christmas light tree. I'll put a picture right here so you can actually see it. So once we get so close to the bottom, there's two things we can do. We can keep wrapping it down all the way down to the bottom, but I'm going to tell you a problem with that. When I show you how to wrap this branch wrap down here at the bottom, the problem a lot of times people will do is they will run out of lights. So what do you do when you run out of light? You try to get the wire stretcher out and you stretch the wire to make it look good. And it doesn't look good. We'll have spaces down at the bottom of this big. Or what happens when we have too many lights at the bottom? Then they'll wrap the tree 10 times around the bottom, and when the snow comes, all that snow sits on there, and now we have another issue. Or if it's raining and it just so happens to be a puddle in there, that's another problem. So what I will do is we will actually take our male and start down here at the bottom and work our way up of the branch wrap. And that way we can meet the two in the middle, and if we need to move lights around, we can move lights around real easy. So what we'll do is we want the male on the bottom, right? So sometimes if they'll unwrap, we can leave them like that. If not, we may need to unroll them and do them again. So what I always do is I bring it around here, bring it around, and then just do an overhand knot again right here. Just a nice little knot right there. Nothing, not an actual knot, but just kind of so it can't move. So I can put a little pressure on it and keep it looking good. We kind of want to get it to the bottom as much as we can. But again, we want to make sure when we plug this in that we can plug this in so this ain't laying on the ground or in a puddle of water that's going to cause an issue. So once we get started, we're going to wrap around this tree here like so. Get a couple wraps around here, and I'll tell you what, and I'll show you what we're looking for. So what we're looking for is this tree to wrap up here like so. And what we're trying to do is get 4 fingers. We want to do 4 fingers wide all the way up this tree. And I'll branch wrap up this one, branch wrap up that one. We could wrap both of this, but it's not going to look real good. It'll look better with a branch wrap here, branch wrap there, and then meet in the middle. So we want to make sure we're keeping 4 fingers all the way down through there. Now you can see that I'm kind of getting in bunched up there. So what you can do is it's honestly easier if you, I'm going to put this here so I don't lose what I got, is if we roll these back up this way, and even if you take a second or two to roll them back up, it will make your life a lot easier in the end. All right, then we're going to keep on coming around, making sure just a nice snug, keep them at 4 fingers, keep on coming around here like so. And again, we're going to keep on coming. Having other issues. This is normally if you roll them up and don't do this for whatever reason, these are wanting to, must be my first tree of the year. Keep on coming up here like so. Keep them nice 4 fingers of distance. Nice 4 finger distance. Wrap it all the way up here like so. Now, this is called branch wrapping. So once we get so far, I could wrap all this all the way up there. It won't look as good as if I do a single wrap and go up here this way. So I need more lights. There is 2 different types of lights. There is a 5 mil and there is the ones that have, they're LEDs, but they have the little light on the end of them. I always tell people, you know, if you're up in the tree, it's okay to use different brands of light. If you're down here on the trunk, try to use all the same. Where we've been in business, we got several different lights of several different types. So we have all kinds of different lights. So again, we're going to sit here and plug this in with the male on the bottom side of it. And we're going to wrap up here like so. Come up here. Again, 4 fingers. Keeping that 4 fingers, keeping them tight, keeping it looking good. All right. So if I was going to do this, I could run my set of lights down and then run it back up, or I can run it down and then run it back up, either which way. I would probably come up here to this little Y right here, hit it over top of that Y, bring these lights down, bring these lights down kind of so, like so, and so. Maybe even tie it around this here so that way it don't look so obvious that what I did. Let me get this around there. Pull that little snug. I can even come around this way. Pull this a little snug. And then light it again. And then I'm going to go up this side of the tree all the way up. All the way up to there. And then what I'm going to do is, once I get up here, then I'm going to try to find wherever my lights are in my tree, and I'm going to plug this in like so, plug it in, and then I'm going to keep this going this way because that's where I'm going. But now if this is up at the top, I shouldn't have, let me do that so it makes it look more realistic here. I'm going to pull these back out of here. Pull this out of here. So now that I've went up this side too, I've done both sides here. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to find my other lights here. I'm going to do an overhand knot, plug it back in, and then I'm going to put this back into that tree and keep my same distance, and I'm going to keep going until it looks nice and snug and good, like so. And even if I can get that a little bit snugger, that's what I would want. So again, this right here is what will make this tree look really, really good. If you can just do the bottoms of trees, make them look good, it'll make the top look good, even if they're half budded looking. Even if, if we keep that distance here for a naked tree, or this tree here for an evergreen tree. And then so those are our distance. We want this here for a naked tree, this here for an evergreen tree, and then we want 4 fingers for our branch wrap. You can see my 4 fingers going all the way up through there. And that'll make this tree look amazing. It will make it look really, really good. So again, this is how we can wrap a 30-foot tree using a Mr. Longarm, a paint hook, which will cost you about $45, $50 for the tool to do it, and then plus your lights. And then the other thing is how many lights a tree takes. Normally, you can usually say about 1 strand per foot. And that will give you enough for down here and up there, because obviously you're not going to use as many down here, but you may use more up there. And that's on a 30-foot strand. So a 30-foot strand, actually you can go a little less than that. You can about guess it a little less than 30 strands a foot. That is a good guesstimate of how many lights will go on a tree when we are branch wrapping and brow wrapping. And this will make this tree look really good and really awesome. So if you would like to learn more about Christmas lights and doing Christmas lights and everything that I have in there, go check out my membership. I have everything in my membership. I talk, if you want to be a homeowner to learn how to do Christmas lights on your house, if you want to learn it as a business. If you do it as a business, I have a whole thing of how to, marketing, nothing but marketing, how to build a website, why we need a website, how to get business by using Google My Business, how to do everything you need to do of how we grew our business to $1 million a year in gross sales. Go check it out. You can check all my links out down in the bottom down here, or if you'd like to learn more about Christmas lights, doing them on a roof, check out my video up here. See you in my next video.